WCBI Sports coverage of the NCAA College World Series is brought to you in part by Bill Russell Ford, Prestige Farms, OCH Regional Medical Center, Advanced Medicine, Compassionate Care, Home Store Furnishings in Starkville, and Visit Columbus, the city that has it all.
Welcome here to Omaha, Nebraska, the site of the College World Series. It is our OmaDawgs game day preview special. Tom Ebel, Courtney Robb, and some of our friends here in the Left Field Lounge, Lizards Company. It's a great time here. We're having an awesome time here. We're joined actually by Paul Maloney. I was told you're the brains behind the operation here. If you can't see behind us, there's probably about 1,000 people within half a mile of here, Paul. You mentioned that this crowd is pretty big.
This crowd has grown over the years. We started coming to Omaha in 2007 was our first year. We got absolutely hooked. We've never missed a year since. We come whether Mississippi State's here or not. We set up our tailgate whether Mississippi State's here or not. In 2013, we had a very large crowd. Last year, we had a much larger crowd, and this year it's gotten completely out of control.
And talk about the spread for a second. I know you were just saying the food here is not what people might be used to. No burgers, no hot dogs, but I hear there's some wild game.
We bring wild game up, and there are people that say, I don't eat wild game. They'll try one of our duck poppers. They'll reach in their pocket, give us some money, and say, go get some more. Duck poppers, pig wings, venison sausage balls, brats cooked the Midwestern way, seafood boudin from South Central Louisiana, and then the locals bring lamb chops, ribeyes. There's no telling what else we're going to have. It's a real conglomeration of locals and us doing our thing.
So that's one of the best topics is food, but one of the other topics, the reason why we're here is it's game day, Paul, and of course everyone here is here for game day. Mississippi State taking on Auburn. Paul, what are you thinking for today?
Team-wise, we've got a solid team. To us, it's very solid in relation to 2013, and as long as our team plays its game, the other team makes a few boo-boos, and we capitalize on their boo-boos. It's baseball. Everybody knows what can happen in baseball. We can come out being the winners, and let's go ahead and win on Tuesday, and let's play again on Friday. Let's keep going.
You mentioned that just a minute ago, the crowd here that you've had at the Left Field Lounge Lizard Tent is about as big as it was in 2013. The last time State was in a national championship?
2013, the Left Field Lounge Lizards showed up en masse. There was a quote from the Omaha World Herald during the championship weekend, and one of the greatest sports writers of all time, he said this quote, he said, I went to sleep in Omaha and I woke up in Starkville. There was that much maroon in town, championship weekend 2013.
So what are we thinking, national championship again maybe this year?
If we win 5 in a row, we won the whole thing. Win tonight, win on Tuesday, win on Friday, go to championship, win 2. That's it. We're done. We got to win 5 in a row. You're a national champion.
It stands to reason for us, I think.
Absolutely, we'll be here through all of it. And I think
we absolutely will be.
The beverages don't run out here.
The beverages usually don't run out until today.
One day, that's it?
This day, and granted, it is a little warm. It's not as hot as it was last year, but you get around the mid-80s around here, and there's low humidity. The breeze isn't even too much right now, but we're in the full sun in a parking lot. It's concrete, people hot, and they want something to drink. Adult beverages, water, soft drinks, whatever, but I think they finished everything off about 5 minutes ago.
So if you're in Omaha, come check out Paul Maloney and the Left Field Lounge Lizards, but much more to come on our special today. We'll be back with more on the Auburn-Mississippi State matchups next. Welcome back here to Omaha, Nebraska. We're here for our OmaDawgs preview special, previewing Mississippi State and Auburn. First pitch coming up shortly. Tom Ebel, joined by my good friend, back at it again, Brett Hudson of Matt Wyatt Media. Brett, welcome to Omaha. Great to have you here.
It's a rite of passage, man. It's about time we did this again.
That's right. We were here last year. It's only right that we're here again talking about Mississippi State and Omaha. We've been playing this game with the Bulldogs for the past couple days, the waiting game, just trying to get a game in. The Bulldogs have been here, I think, since Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and so how much do you think the jitters of the anxiety of waiting actually plays into anything?
I don't think it does with this team because the entire roster was here last year for the most part. They've been here and they've done that. And they actually, it seems like it's been less regimented for them this year than it was last year, because last year, if they had a day like this, they would have done a team zoo visit or a team children's hospital visit. Those are two of the things they did. Coach Lemonis gave Saturday more or less free to them. They could go be with their families. Lemo said he would open the wallet for his family at the merchandise tent area, so that was funny. But they were given pretty much freedom to go be with their families and do more or less whatever they wanted. So that I imagine that helped some too, getting a little bit of detox or just a chill time before they take the field Sunday night.
The good one was Chris Lamona said Saturday was your day, Sunday is my day. So Sunday, it's today. It's game day. Mississippi State taking on Auburn. Obviously, these two teams met up in March. Mississippi State winning that series 2-3. Two different teams than we even saw back in March. What are the first impressions with Auburn? Can you really judge what they did back in March to what they're doing right now?
No, because they're a completely different lineup. I mean, you look at the bats they have in this lineup, almost all of them are hitting better in this 6-game, I think, NCAA tournament sample than they were in the regular season. I mean, Rankin Woley, the first baseman, he's going from like a 270 in the regular season to something in the high 300s or the low 400s. Ryan Bliss is hitting over 400 in the NCAA tournament. This lineup is just completely different from what it was in that weekend series in Starkville, which is pretty entertaining considering the 20-15 game it was on Sunday. You wonder if we're in for a 30-27 slugfest in Omaha. That'd be fun. But it's a completely different lineup. The pitching staff is interesting. They've had a really rough go of it pitching-wise on the Plains, just constant changes to their starting rotation. They've never really been able to get comfortable there, but the lineup is a very different task from what Ethan Small and this bullpen faced last time.
We can only hope it's not a 30-20 game. We'll be here till 5 in the morning, Brett.
But we'd be here till 5 in the morning anyway.
Yeah, you're probably right. Never mind. Anyway, speaking of Auburn, you mentioned a little bit of the pitching staff. Jack Owen on the mound for Auburn. He did not pitch against Mississippi State in March. What's the rundown on Jack? What can Mississippi State expect to see today?
He's kind of a microcosm of Auburn's season in that he was a good pitcher that got hurt and had to miss some time. That's why he was not available for Auburn and Starkville. I think he threw a complete game, like maybe a complete game shutout earlier in the season, then got hurt, wasn't available. His NCAA tournament has not been very impressive. It's an ERA in the 6 and a WHIP in the 1.8 range. So he's really struggled in the NCAA tournament. So there is a good Jack Owen out there. Auburn and frankly anyone hasn't seen it for weeks now. So if that good Jack Owen comes, there is potential there to dominate an SEC lineup. He had a really good start against Tennessee earlier in the year, but Auburn just hasn't seen, and frankly no one has seen the good Jack Owen in quite a long time. So there's some reason to be optimistic for Mississippi State there.
And Jack Owen's counterpart on the mound will be Ethan Small. There's really not much else to say about Ethan except you really know what you're going to get. But the thing is, the last time we saw Ethan in Omaha was that Oregon State game where he got roughed up a little bit, and that was the last time Small gave up more than 3 runs in a baseball game was his last appearance in Omaha. Coach Lamona said yesterday that you could pitch Ethan on Mars and it wouldn't matter where, but I mean, do we really expect anything different with Ethan today, especially against the lineup he's seen before?
You could probably pitch Ethan on any planet, but the question is whether you can pitch Ethan in the Nickel Blacks. We'll have to find that out come game time if it's the Maroon 85s or the Nickel Blacks. But no, I mean, Ethan is 6 strikeouts away from tying and 7 strikeouts away from breaking the single season record for strikeouts in Mississippi State baseball history. That's obviously pretty impressive. 168 strikeouts on the year, and he limits walks. All of the numbers on Ethan are really impressive. So I'm assuming we're going to get the same Ethan Small that we've gotten all season long, and that's a good start for Mississippi State, especially when you can pair his super over-the-top left-handed delivery with Jared Liebelt coming from a sidearm, 3/4 kind of slot on the right side. It's a really tough adjustment for batters to make in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, considering you get 6 innings minimum of Ethan Small almost every weekend. So that kind of deal, it's tough for Auburn. So if Mississippi State can take advantage of a recently slumping Jack Owen, build a 3-4 run lead in the first 3 innings, I don't see it ending well for Auburn. I think Mississippi State's going to be 1-0, and that's a pretty important jump. I think I saw a stat on ESPN where 34 of the last 38 national champions won their first game here in Omaha. It'd be a pretty good.
Yeah, I think that first game is really underrated in the fact that we talked about this the other day with Mississippi State. If you win today, you're automatically to Thursday, no matter what happens. So you got to get off on a good foot. We saw it on Saturday with the underdogs winning, with Florida State and Michigan getting Game 1 wins. And so Mississippi State, they're a team of destiny in their own right, being that they were here last year. They had that insane ride, but they lost last year. Now they're almost the team to beat, facing a team of destiny in Auburn that's really came out of nowhere. Upset number 3 Georgia Tech national seed in their own regional. Beat North Carolina on their Super. This Auburn team resembles that Mississippi State team from last year.
Yeah, if you're one to believe in the juju, Roland, you're not thrilled about Auburn coming into this as the underdog and the team with just everything going for it. They've definitely had the magic on their side so far. I mean, it seems like whenever they need a big inning offensively, they've gotten it. I think they tacked on 3 or 4 in one of those wins in the North Carolina Chapel Hill Super Regional, and then of course that like 1,400 run inning in the first.
More or less.
Yeah, I think that first inning lasted about 3 days. It's amazing they're going to get this game started on time, just because Auburn's still playing that Monday game at Chapel Hill.
We're all much older after that first inning.
I was much more full of life before that first inning in Chapel Hill started. That much is for sure.
We'd only be so lucky to get a repeat, huh, Brett?
Of 20 to 15?
Oh my goodness. Imagine that. Unspeakable things, as you would say, my friend.
I would say unspeakable things, and will repeatedly if we get 20 to 15
in Omaha.
But of course it's the 6:30 game, right? So a 20 to 15 game would take us well into the evening. We couldn't have that game at 1 and force Louisville and Vandy to just sit there and watch unspeakable things unfold. That'd be pretty fun, especially for Dan McDonald, Chris Lamonis's boy. That'd be
very good
fun.
friends. And so that's why if we think about last year's Omaha run, that Washington game ended in what? 2 hours and 15 minutes, 1-0. Ethan Small with an absolute gem. Maybe for our sake, we're hoping for that. Hoping for that 2 hour and 15 minute because, deadlines and things like that.
Sleep also.
Sleep as well.
Sleep
is important.
Yeah.
But speaking of Ethan Small and Mississippi State, if you were to pick someone, you said 3 or 4 runs for State, and you're looking pretty good with Small on the mound. But who's maybe someone, maybe like a prediction-wise, who do you think is going to have a big Omaha for the Bulldogs?
Ooh, let's go. It's kind of obvious, but let's go with Jake Mangum because it's more about the ballpark. This is a doubles ballpark. It's a very spacious outfield. The alleys and the gaps are huge, and that's what Jake Mangum has reinvented himself into in his time here at Mississippi State at the end. He used to be just a slapper, single in the 6 hole kind of guy, but some point in his junior year, he narrowed up his stance and he focused on putting backspin on the ball. So when he drives it into a gap, it doesn't just roll through, get picked up by an outfielder, and get back in for a single. It gets somewhere quick. It rolls all the way to the wall, and he turns that into a double. Those doubles at Dudy Noble might be triples at TD Ameritrade just because of how huge the outfield is here. So I think his game really sets up well for this. But honestly, this is a doubles lineup. Justin Foskey is a doubles guy and a homer guy at Dudy Noble Field with like 14 or 15 on the year. Jordan Westberg is a doubles guy. Rowdy Jordan is a doubles guy when he has his swing.
You could really go up and down the lineup. I mean, Tanner Allen, you could just... they led the SEC in doubles. I believe they led the country in doubles this
I'm
year.
pretty sure they set the school record for doubles in a season, or if they haven't, they will pretty shortly here in Omaha.
Exactly.
So they set up pretty well for TD Ameritrade, and Jake Mangum obviously leads that list.
I was going to say, I'm going to go staying in the flames with Tanner Allen. I think Tanner Allen will be the guy that Mississippi State's going to rely on to bring in guys like Mangum and Westberg in the top of the lineup.
Chipper Jones
Jr. He just can't take the shades off, even if it's dark outside. Just
He's
leave
the only
shades
person
on.
in America that's allowed to wear sunglasses inside.
And at night. And in the dark. Even in the lights. You can't have the lights mess up the Chipper Jones vibe.
When this game is still going at 11 p.m. local time, Tanner Allen has to wear sunglasses. No way around it.
You heard it here first. You have to do it, Tanner. I'm sorry. I know it might be distracting.
It's a lot of pressure, but you got to do what you got to do, man.
So to wrap this up, Brett, you maybe hinted to it a little bit earlier, but what are you thinking game 1?
I'm thinking State wins. I think they put a few up on Jack Owen early. Ethan Small settles in. They probably bring Lee Belt out of the pen unless they have a different matchup in mind, and they win a game, maybe something in the 7-1, 6-1 range.
I was thinking 5-1, 6-1.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Great minds think alike.
Great minds do think alike. Brett Hudson and Matt Wyatt Media. Make sure you go check out his podcast, Dog Pile. A lot of great stuff. A lot more in depth. A little more meat on the bones of that one than a little here with some stats and good stuff.
Many more memes, that's for sure.
Many more memes. We love memes. Everything is great. Brett, thanks again, buddy. We'll do this again sometime soon. We may be here for a while, so we'll get comfortable.
Yeah, that's why we got the rental house, right?
It is beautiful, isn't it? Very nice. Very nice. We'll be back after break. So our party continues here in Omaha. Courtney having a great time. But the real reason why we're here is for game day. Mississippi State taking on Auburn. The parallels are everywhere. Former assistant Butch Thompson taking on his former team, and the relationships go a little bit deeper than baseball. Auburn head coach Butch Thompson finds himself in a unique position, a milestone game against old friends. Of the 297 Division I baseball teams, the Aberdeen, Mississippi native faces his former team in the biggest game the Tigers have played in more than 2 decades, beginning the College World Series against Mississippi State.
When I first saw it, I went like, are you kidding me? And then as the time has went on, I've gotten to a deeper level. I went from level 1 to level 2, and I said, this is one of the neatest things ever to get to play Mississippi State in Omaha.
Thompson recruited many of the Diamond Dogs making their second straight Omaha trip, many taking the time to reconnect with a big part of their life.
And they pull up, they're following us, and we're all sitting there ready to go, trying to get out of there. And Butch gets out of the car, and I'm like, I got to give Coach Butch a hug. So, you know, my whole team, even the ball players, there's a tremendous amount of respect. They had to get off the bus and make a point to go see Coach Butch. And I just thought it was a special piece in this game of the relationship side.
He was like a father figure to me when he was here. He genuinely cares about every single player he's ever coached, and I truly believe that. Him leaving, you know, when he left, we all knew he was going to have a great program. Everyone who's ever played for him knows what kind of leader he is, knows what kind of guy he is.
He made baseball fun, and it just feels like you're at home with the guy. And, you know, I got off the bus, gave him a hug, said, hope you're doing well. He said, say hi to your family and hope you guys do well. You know, it's just stuff like that. And he's just a really good character person, and I'll always love him and value the relationship for sure.
For Coach Butch, the relationships he's built with those that hail the maroon and white have stayed with him, even though the Plains has become home.
There's so many deep relationships that they're all rooting against us Sunday. But I hear from Mississippi State folks when we have success because of sincere relationships. As you get to a good place, this stuff's bigger than ball. There are things that are, and relationships at the end of the day are important. And I cherish every one of those real deep relationships that I have at Mississippi State.
Butch Thompson was last in Omaha with the Bulldogs back in 2013 for that national championship. But so was someone else. More from one of Mississippi State's lifelong fans coming up next after the break.
Well, some very interesting stories this year. Mississippi State coming back for the 11th time, but one man, a 91-year-old man, made the trip for his 7th College World Series, and this year he's hoping that he'll see a state championship victory. Johnny Hurd is a Mississippi State Bulldog through and through. At 91 years old, the Brooksville native attends every baseball game at Dudy Noble, not wanting to miss a moment in Diamond Dog history. That's why he's traveled 846 miles to Omaha for his 7th College World Series, this time hopeful that it's the one he sees a state championship win.
I believe we got more hustle this year than we've ever had before. And I just enjoy seeing all of them play, but I love to see Jake. He hustles. Roddy hustles. All of them hustle. We got some boys that can hum the ball. They gonna win this thing.
Hurd has cheered his dogs on for 40 years, 30 as a season ticket holder, often fond of the Ron Polk years at the Old Dude.
That's the best team that's ever been up here, and it didn't win the World Series.
Polk was his guy, and he's been his guy ever since. And he loves all these folks. I mean, he loved Lamonis, he loved Cohen. You know, he loved all these folks, even Butch Thompson, these other assistants. Ron Polk and the way he carried himself and his cigar smoking up in the press box, just they came up together.
He couldn't support his chosen team without his family. The Hurds always make sure he can attend every single game.
If we didn't want to go to the game, we wouldn't bring him. But I know if we had not come up here, he would have been devastated. There was no telling him no. Somebody had to get him here.
As the years go by, Johnny has been a constant at Mississippi State baseball games all throughout the country, each year being more amazed than the one before.
It's just unbelievable that little old team down in Starkville, Mississippi can play with folks like these other schools. I'm proud of the fact that they've been here. How many folks all over the United States can say they've been to 7 World Series with their team?
Not many.
That's right. But you have to live a long time, too.
So the party is just about to begin, Courtney. 6:30 first pitch, Mississippi State and Auburn. Who you got?
Gotta go with Mississippi State. Ethan Small, just too good on the mound.
I agree with you completely. And so let's talk about what's your favorite. What's your favorite here?
The food here, impeccable. Love all of it so far. The stuffed mushroom is just amazing.
Magnifique. We want more. I think we're gonna go try and run and go grab some seconds.
Absolutely. Gotta fill up to have all that energy for this great baseball game we're about to watch, Tom.
That's right. So first pitch, 6:30, Mississippi State, Auburn. It's gonna be a great baseball game. Make sure you tune in tonight at 10 on WCBI Sports. We'll have a full recap of the game, everything going on. Thank you so much for joining us for our special. It's game time. Let's make it happen. Tom Ebel, Courtney Robb for WCBI Sports. We'll see you next time.
WCBI Sports coverage of the NCAA College World Series is brought to you in part by Monroe County Farm Bureau, Jackson Square Storage, Bill Cunningham, attorney at law, and Bank First, a better way to bank.